mode.
Hi guys, this is Maya speaking. I'm the product sales specialist out of Baton Rouge. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Thursday night. Of course, you are here to get information on Snap Plus, our new database system. We will be speaking with Alicia Moore tonight. She is our VP of Sales. Of course, she works out of the New Orleans office. And then we also have our ABC representative with us this evening, Miss Paige Hyman. She is over sales and marketing at ABC, and she does a really great job. A couple of things, if this is your first webinar with us. We will be taking questions throughout the night. Alicia will be going over an overview of important things that you might have seen before already. But if you have a question, you can simply go into the questions tab that you will see on the bottom of your sidebar, and that will open the question box up, and you can simply type your question in there, and then at scheduled breaks we will answer them. Some questions might be repeat, so if you do not get an automatic response, just know that we will answer those questions aloud to the group. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Alicia.
All right. So thank you everybody for taking the time on a Thursday night to get information about Snap Plus and just overall information about the cookie program. So we're going to get started because we have a lot to cover tonight. But again, we want to thank Paige for taking the time out tonight to hang out with us and to go over some things. So before we get started on with Paige, I kind of wanted to go over a few things, kind of tell you what we're going to go over tonight. So we're going to cover signing in to Snap Plus, pulling reports. These are some reports that you can view throughout the sale to help you and aid you in some decision making that you can do. Place an initial order, which is obviously very important. Scheduling delivery times, boot sales, planned orders, and recognition. So these are just our agenda for tonight. But before we kind of get into the agenda, I kind of wanted to put some context into this. So some of the things that have changed this year is obviously a lot of the language that we use. So when we are talking about Snap Plus is the equivalent to our former system, which was eBuddy. Digital Cookie is what we called, the online platform before. That is Coco now. Cookie Share, it was, was gifted carrying in the past. Planned orders is what we're using now. It used to be called pending orders in the past. Virtual Cookie Share is iGive, and it's still going to be called iGive, but for the purposes of Snap, when you see it, it'll be Virtual Cookie Share, right? Track Cookie Share is just your troop gifted carrying, and what that means is that your troop is responsible for delivering those cookies, choosing that organization, and that those cookies actually come out of your inventory. Whereas iGive, the troop or the girl is financially responsible for those cookies. The council will take on the delivery of those, and the organizations that we choose to support are Blue Star Moms and Second Harvest Food Bank and the Food Bank of Baton Rouge. So just to kind of give you a little context as it relates to the new changes and some of the language that we're going to be using going forward. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, we're dealing with some different technology. And so we wanted to kind of highlight, although tonight we're going to be talking about Snap, but we wanted to kind of introduce you, for those of you who may not know, the entire technology suite. Okay, so there's Smart Cookie U, which we had a webinar about Smart Cookie U and Coco. I encourage you to watch that webinar. It is listed on our website right now, so on our YouTube channel, so you will have an opportunity to see that. And then, like I said, tonight we'll be talking about Snap Plus. So, and all of these technology, all of these platforms can be accessed at abcsmartcookies.com. And so just to kind of give you a little idea about that. So I want to just touch base on a few of them and just give you a broad overview. So Coco Command is one platform, but it has several different functionality. So it does some different things. Your access to Smart Cookie U begins with Cocoa. So if you're a troop leader, as all of you are, this is where you can go in and set your troop up. You'll be able to communicate with your troops, with your girls. For the girl, they'll be able to go into this site, set up their own online stores, be able to send out emails or e-cards to their supporters, and have people be able to purchase items directly online, pay for shipping and things like that. So that is Cocoa, right? And like I said, I won't go too far into it, but I do want to encourage you to go onto our website on our YouTube channel and watch the Cocoa and Smart Cookie U webinar. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about as it relates to Cocoa, and which is going to be important for tonight, is, as I said in the previous slide, girls are able to go in, send out e-cards, and have their supporters make a purchase, pay for shipping, and have those items shipped directly to them. That function is called Cocoa Direct. Okay, and Cocoa Direct, the shipping relatively begins about $10.95, so about $11. The customer has to purchase a minimum of 6 boxes of cookies in order to have them shipped out. And there is an 8-pack sampler variety. Okay, the big thing I want to talk about next with Cocoa is that these orders are that girls, make online, that girls receive, will directly flow into Snap, because that was some questions that we had. So orders that are made online that a customer has paid for will flow into Snap on a nightly basis. Okay, so it's not instantaneous, right? But on a nightly basis, these orders will flow into Snap. Now, here's some important things. In order for that to happen, the girl's name in Snap must match in Cocoa. Now, Snap is we'll be uploading all of the troops and the girls into the system. We've done that. Most of you should already have received your login credentials. I'll cover that in just a few. But when you log in, you'll be able to see a list of your girls, okay? And we're pulling that information from our system, eBiz, right? Where you all go to register. So in order for the information from Cocoa to transfer into Snap, the girl's name must match exactly the way it is listed in Snap. And what that means is, so if the girl's name is Kathleen, you can't call her Kathy in Cocoa. It has to match because the system is looking for Kathleen. So I just wanted to kind of make sure you guys understand that. And again, we covered that in the Cocoa webinar as well. So that's it for Cocoa. The next system that we are using is Smart Cookie U, the platform, right? So as a troop leader, your login credentials that you use to set yourself up in Cocoa is going to be the same login that you use for Smart Cookie U. Now, Smart Cookie U is not for parents. This is for troop leaders, and this is where you're going to find all of your information as it relates to your print materials, the videos that we are this webinar here. All of those things will be housed in Smart Cookie U. Okay, so a couple of other things. This will look familiar to you in just a few moments, but as Paige goes over a few things. This is your cookie sheet, which is your dashboard in Snap. And the reason why we're showing this is because we know that you're not going to remember everything that we talk about tonight. So that's why we're recording this and why we're going to this just-in-time training model. And what that means is that just in time, when you really need this information, we're going to release a video, or maybe it's a quick guide that is going to help you to be able to complete whatever task it is that needs to be completed in Snap, okay? Or just overall for the cookie program, right? So what's going to happen is, as you can see on the bottom, there's a messages section, right? We're going to post the link 1 week prior to when this is actually due in Snap. right? It'll be a link and it'll be a video, or it'll be a quick guide of information that you need to be able to complete that task. So here is our training schedule for that. So on tomorrow, you'll see a video posted by us, and we'll post it into the messages tab, and it will be getting started, what to do first in SNAP, right? So this is a list of those things that we'll be posting. And as we go along through this process, if we feel like we're getting a lot of questions about a particular thing, then probably be a good idea for us to post a video, and we'll do that if need be. But those videos or those messages will be housed in Snap under the messages tab, and all of the videos and YouTube things, we'll post them on YouTube, but that we'll also post them on Smart Cookie U as well. Okay. So one of the other things that we've gotten questions about is Sage Mobile Payments, which is it allows girls to be able to take credit card payments at a boot sale, right? So we still will be working with Sage this year. Troops will still be able to, process credit cards. The council will still pay the fees. The troop is responsible for the swipes. They begin at $20, and that kind of depends on what type of phone you have. The video, the sign-up sheet will all be housed on Smart Cookie U. So we know that was some questions. So we just wanted to make sure that you knew where to get that information. Okay. So yes, we'll still be doing this program. It has been very beneficial to us. If you are a troop that participated in it last year, then all you need to do is let us know that you're interested and that you want to do it again. And, we'll get you all set up. Like I said, you're responsible. The troop is responsible for the swipes, and the council will pay the fees. And what that means is that if a customer purchases 2 boxes of cookies for $8, the $8 will go into your troop account, and the fees will come out of the council account. So we just wanted to kind of clarify that. The other thing is cookie delivery. Now, cookie delivery for all 23 parishes that we serve is going to go through from February 19th through February 26th. 2 warehouse deliveries. So we have 2 warehouses. We have 2 delivery companies this year. We do have our warehouse deliveries, and you need to contact your service unit manager to ensure that your service unit is participating in the warehouse delivery. So typically it's the greater New Orleans area, the river parishes that are all come out of the Bergeron freight systems. All of Baton Rouge will go out of Armstrong relocation. And so but contact your service unit manager to ensure that your area is still where your delivery will actually take place. So those 2 major deliveries will happen on February 20th and the 21st. But again, I want to stress to you that you want to contact your service unit manager about when you'll actually be able to pick up your cookies and from where. And we'll send out some information about that as well through Snap. So just wanted to make sure that we covered that aspect of it. The other thing is Boot Scheduler. So Paige is going to walk us through how to go through first come, first serve, all of those things, the lottery, how that's going to work. But this is our schedule for it. So round 1 of Boot Scheduler will open on January 31st at 7 a.m. You'll be able to receive 3 slots, 2 premium. We'll talk more in depth about that. Round 2 is going to be Boot Scheduler open on February 6th. You'll have an opportunity to go in and request 10 slots, okay? And the lottery will actually take place on the 11th. So February 11th is when you'll actually be able to log in and see what you received. Round 3 of Boot Scheduler will happen on February 13th at 7 a.m. And again, that is unlimited. You can go in and choose however many boot sales that you like, but I like to stress that there are child labor laws, and so we cannot work our girls all day. So just keep that in mind as well. So that is Boot Scheduler. That's how that works. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is planned orders and that schedule for that. And remember what I told you about our language. So planned orders is considered pending orders. That's what it was previously called. And this is an order that is placed to your cupboard of choice, right? So there are 16 cupboards in the council. You would make an order to your cupboard of choice, and you need to make that on February 28th. So that is a weekend. That's after your first weekend of boot sales. We're trying to, find out what we need to move to different cupboards and what do we need to move around. And so we need you to help us with that. So on February 28th at midnight, all planned orders should be submitted to your cupboard of choice. And then on March 6th at midnight, all plan orders. Again, that will be our final one, which should be submitted to your cupboard of choice. Okay. So before we get into SNAP and turn it over to Paige, I wanted to take some questions here, if we had any, Maya.
Yes, we do have one question. Is the Smart Cookie U account created instantaneously after you create a Cocoa account, or is there a delay?
I'll let Paige take that. Paige, are you?
Yes, I'm here. When a volunteer creates a Cocoa account, there is a nightly process that imports that account information over to Smart Cookie U. And so the next day, you should be able to log into Smart Cookie U. Having said that, I have received a small number of complaints about the account not working the next day in Smart Cookie U. And our technical team is working on that. I have given them account examples, and I have provided them with specifics. So we're actively troubleshooting that and hope to have that resolved quickly so that you all can gain access to this very important resource site.
Great, thank you. A question about, are daisies able to use a Sage Swipe?
No, daisies are not able to use a Sage Swipe. They are only allowed to do boot sales in front of their school or their church. And we feel like it's very important for them at that critical stage to learn how to count back change. And the girls are actually supposed to be using it. And if you look into Sage's, user agreements, only older girls are really supposed to use that. So no, they're not able to use a swipe.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a couple questions about regarding SNAP login and password information.
Okay, well, we'll go on to that. We'll let Paige get into that. So before we turn it over to Paige, a couple of things I wanted to just highlight is that SNAP does have a customer service number. It's a 24/7 customer service number where you will be able to go in and ask if you're having any trouble with the SNAP site. And this is a great resource for us. We thought that this would be a good service to our volunteers. So that number is on the screen, 1-800-853-3730. Or you can reach out to them via tech support at abctech@interbake. So just keep that in mind. And also you can access a lot of videos, and we'll be kind of showing a lot of videos and sharing a lot of videos from their YouTube channel. And again, I just want to highlight that you can access all three of ABC's technology suite from ABC Smart Cookie, smartcookies.com. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to turn it over to Paige, and I'm going to change you as the presenter, Paige, so just hold on for just a second.
No problem. Okay.
So,
Alicia, can you see it?
I see it.
Great. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Paige Hyman, and I am your ABC Sales and Marketing Consultant for the Louisiana East Council. Just to give you some background, I've been with ABC. This is my 5th cookie season. For the past 4 seasons, I've actually been working on the technology side, supporting SNAP and Smart Cookie U and Cocoa and the mobile apps and all that good stuff. And I've been working with all of our ABC councils across the U.S. I had a great opportunity to move into a sales and marketing role, and I'm so happy I did because I have been very excited to start working with the Louisiana East folks. So tonight is obviously the second webinar that we've had this week, and we're going to be going through SNAP, and we'll be able to touch on questions that you have. As Alicia so nicely framed it up, you've got access to training videos. I think that she did a good job of helping you all understand what is a pretty big transition from eBuddy to SNAP and understanding the terms of what you used to have versus what you'll have going into this cookie season. We as ABC are thrilled to have you all on board, and we look forward to hearing your feedback about how you think the season's going to go, what the customers are telling you about the cookies, and we also want to hear from you about the technology suite. So thank you so much for spending your Thursday night with us. I'm, again, very excited to be here, and let's go ahead and get started. So as Alicia said, we're going to cover SNAP tonight, and we're going to cover the big chunks of stuff. Now, SNAP's a pretty big system, just like eBuddy was, but what we want to do is focus on really the important features, the ones that you need to know sooner than later, because we are using a just-in-time training model, and I think that's incredibly important because we lose so many volunteers in this process or in the sale overall because people get overwhelmed. Volunteers get overwhelmed. So we want to feed you the information that you need at the time that you need it in small bites so that you can better process it and get more familiar with the technology. So tonight we're going to focus on a handful of things, including how to log in, what the dashboard looks like. You've already seen a screenshot of the cookie sheet. How to create that initial order that's due February 2nd, how to build a planned order, how to schedule your pickup of your cookies, how to navigate through the booth functions for both first come, first serve and lottery, how to create a recognition order for your troop, and then also how to create a GIRL financial transaction so that you can make a you can create a transaction in Snap and make a note, if you will, of money that you've collected from girls. So, and also we'll take a look at some reports. So we'll go ahead and get started. As Alicia said and Maya mentioned, you're going to be getting your Snap credentials, your username and your password. Your username is always an email address. So once you get that information, you'll be able to log in. And tonight I'm actually using a test database with a test troop. We have a test database in Snap that's set up just for these types of training webinars. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm in at the troop level. And once I'm in, the first place you go is the cookie sheet. So the first thing you see is your troop's dashboard. Now what does that mean? Well, it's going to show you at the top the girls in your troop. It's going to show you the products that they've sold, the varieties that they sold. Over here is GFT, which is gluten-free trios. One thing that this grid will show you is as the council imports the Cocoa Direct orders into Snap, any Cocoa Direct orders that the girls have sold will also be tallied here. It's going to show you the total sales for your troop, the girls selling. It's going to give you a little finance section. It's going to tell you if there are any new messages that you need to read in Snap. And it's also going to give you some upcoming deadlines. So as I mentioned, your initial order is due February 2nd. That's right there. And on the same day, your early recognition order is also going to be due. And we'll go through those recognition orders in my presentation as well. Alicia and Maya, I encourage you to interrupt me. If you need to stop, I will stop along the way to check in for questions. But if you need to stop and either correct me or add something, please do.
Can you hear me, Paige?
I can.
Okay, so one of the things that I did want to point out is, as Paige mentioned, there is a gluten-free line item there. However, those cookies had to be pre-ordered, and so yes, while that will be available or accessible to you, however, before we submit our final order into the bakery, we will delete those and put that information there that for the troops that actually pre-ordered those cookies, because people who pre-order those cookies by the deadline will actually receive them with their initial order cookies. So while I just want to stress to that while that is accessible to you, if you do put anything in there, it will be deleted, and to make way for us to be able to put the pre-orders that were there, and so those people who did pre-order those items will have access to receive those during their pickup, their initial order pickup. So just wanted to kind of touch base on that. So go ahead. Sorry, Paige.
No, that's great. Thank you, Alicia. It's perfect. So one thing I did want to point out to you is that typically if you are a returning ABC council, this dashboard feature is going to show you year-over-year comparison data. So obviously you won't have that feature this year. You'll have it next season, where you'll be able to see how your troop did in sales last year compared to this year. But moving into reports, I wanted to show you where you can go and actually run reports to support any aspect of data that you need for your troop. So underneath the Reports tab, you'll see there's a Reports option, and then there's an Archive Report section. Obviously, you won't be able to get to any archive data because your troop did not exist and your council did not exist in the SNAP system in the previous season. But if you click on the first option, which is reports, here you're going to see a couple of really important sections. So the first section is the most popular reports. So these are the reports that have been generated the most frequently in recent times. And I can tell you personally, I've run the delivery station appointment summary probably 10 times over the past week because I've been setting up deliveries with other councils. So this gives you an idea of what the most popular reports are, which is very helpful. Then over here you have your personal 10 favorite reports that you can build on the fly every time you're in here, and I'll show you how. And then down here you've got report categories. So for example, under list reports, you're going to have some reports that are very specific to a list format. And then under order reports, you'll have some order reports at the troop level. And then under summary reports, this is where most of your data is going to be. And I can tell you with certainty that the troop balance summary report is going to be one of your most popular ones, as is the girl, as will the girl balance summary report right here. So those are two really important ones, and if you want to make them a favorite, then all you have to do is highlight it with your mouse and click on it with your mouse rather, and then click on add to favorite. Are you sure you want to add it? Yes, and then it appears up here. So you have up to 10 reports that you can create as favorites as you become more acclimated with the reports that are in Snap. I encourage you to go through and play around. Once you have access to Snap, go in, take a look at the reports. Obviously, you're going to have to wait for some data to be in the system, you know, like orders and girls and that sort of thing, but you're quickly approaching that, so you'll be able to go in and play with the reports. So just remember that when you log in, you'll land on your cookie sheet, and then if you want to drill down into information, you can go over to reports, click on reports, and start running from here. So before I jump into submitting and creating your initial order, which is due February 2nd, I wanted to see if there are any questions.
Yeah, we have a question. If there are two cookie moms for large troops, do they share a login?
No, everyone has their own login, and I believe, Maya and Alicia, our intent is to make sure that everyone has their own individual one, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody has their own login. And I can just tell you that now we just sent out an email via Snap. So if you receive that email, then your login is going to be your email address, as Paige said before, and your password is going to be Lemonade. So, you know, you should have received that information.
And if you did receive that information, just to be sure everyone's clear, the password is Lemonades, and that's plural, all lowercase. And I just want to make sure that's well known because the password field is case sensitive.
Great. Awesome. Before you move on to that, though, Paige, I had a question. Can you go over, and I'm not sure exactly where you're going to go over this, but the My Troop tab a little bit and what's there, and you know what things they need to do there?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I actually intended to do that first. So after you're logged in, you land on your cookie sheet, as we said. One very important step is to go to your My Troop header and click on Troop Girls. So I want to show you very quickly where you have the ability to view the girls that are in your troop. Now, you can't delete any girls, but you can double click on any row, and what this will bring up is a screen. And as Alicia mentioned, you want to make sure that the spelling of the girl name is correct. And so if for some reason it's not, you have the ability here to make sure that it is and to double check it. You also have the ability to make sure that the recognition plan that's assigned is correct. And then perhaps one of the most important things is for any sized items in the recognition plan, like a hoodie or a t-shirt, you want to make sure that the girl size is selected properly, because that size will carry over into the recognition order, and that's what will be ordered for her. So you want to make sure it's right. And then under My Troop, you also have the ability to look at your troop information. So here under My Troop, Edit Troop Information, is where you're going to see how many girls you have active in your troop, how many of them are selling, Then you also have the ability to look down here and see what level your troop is currently registered under, which service unit they're connected to, the delivery station, proceed recognitions, and then also, very important, is the troop contact. So who is the troop contact? Put the first and last name. You want to make sure that an active email address is in here. As Alicia mentioned, SNAP has the ability to push out email communication. This is very important for things like booth sales and deliveries and planned orders. I'll show you going forward in the presentation where SNAP would generate an email to this troop contact on file. So you want to make sure you have an active working email address here. And then also the bank account and routing number will be represented here for your troop account for the ACH sweeps that Council will do. And then if you wish, you can add an alternate contact. It's not mandatory. Obviously, if the field has a red asterisk, that means it's mandatory. The alternate contacts are not, but if you wanted to add an alternate, you could do so. And if you make any changes, please make sure that you click Save at the bottom of the screen, and that will make sure that the changes are captured and successfully updated. So that's how you would view both your girls and your general troop information. All right, I'll stop a minute for any questions.
Okay, we have a question. Person says, I see that all of my girls are listed in my troop and some girls are not participating in the sale. Where can we
I'm sorry, Maya, ask that question again. You cut out a bit.
Is there a way to put the girls, I see the list shows the names of all girls in my troop. How do you designate girls who wish not to sell cookies?
Can I take that? I mean, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make sure that you understand this, because I think where you're going with the question is, you know, how is this going to affect our proceeds? So we do PGA, and it's per girl average, and that per girl average is based on girls that are selling, not girls that are registered. So and Paige can take in and say, hey, you know, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty confident that when a girl sells one box of cookies, she's listed as selling, and so that is how your PGA is going to be calculated. Am I, you know, right, Paige? Or
you got it.
So
if she has one package against her, whether it's through a transfer or through a sale, she is considered a selling girl.
Perfect.
Okay. Questions about service units, login information.
Service
Alicia,
unit,
if you want it.
Yeah, your service unit login information. There was an email that was sent out to you guys as well. Your service unit login is your email address, and then it would be cookies.
Yes, and you guys, we have loaded everything into the system today, so if you have not received it by tomorrow morning, you are free to email me at mmiller@gsle.org, and we can catch up on some of those. Again, if you are doing your COCO sign up and your troop is not listed, you can also send me an email through that, and we can work on that issue as well. But the information should be loaded into the system. And those questions right now are about we're going to get into delivery, so that would come up a little bit later. And those are all the questions that we can answer for right now.
All right, thanks.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and move into how your troop creates their initial order for cookies. So I want to start with just a general navigation statement about SNAP. Under the cookies icon is where you're going to have all of your product ordering information, meaning cookies. So whether it's a transfer, whether it's an order to pick up at the cupboard, whether it's your initial order that you're going to be setting up to set up a pickup for that at the delivery station, that's all going to be done under cookies. In addition to your booth functions. So cookies is all about product. cookie orders and booths. It's all about selling. Then under rewards, that's where you're going to have your recognition activity, including your recognition order. So it's pretty easy to figure out when you just hover your cursor over the header, but I did just want to point that out. So what we're going to do now is start with your initial order, which is due on February 2nd. So we're going to click on initial order, very first option. You'll notice here in red that you will be ordering in packages. You're ordering in packages by girl. And then what happens is it totals in cases, and then the council submits their orders to ABC in cases. So what you do is you go across and you basically just enter by variety. And I know that the varieties are going to be new for you. So thanks a lot, cranberries, lemons, shortbreads, Thin Mints, peanut butter patties, which is your tag-along, caramel delight, which is your Samoa, and peanut butter sandwiches, which is your Do-si-dos. So obviously a lot to get used to. You may remember that Alicia said that you will not have the ability to order the gluten-free cookie, the Trios cookie on this initial order, because those cookies were actually pre-ordered. So you're going to be placing this order underneath this cookie's initial order tab. It's due February 2nd. And what you do is as you go along and you enter your quantities in packages, you'll notice that over to the right, it's going to tally the packages for you. And at the bottom, it's going to tally the total in packages, but it's also going to add any extra packages for even cases. And then at the very bottom, it'll show you the total in cases. So you'll also notice there's a row for booth extras. So if you want to order some extras to have for booth sales, certainly you can do that if you'd like. But here's where you just go across and you enter by variety. Now, once you've entered all of your girls by variety and you've double checked it, we always ask that you save the order, always. I want to point out two things. The first is there's a timeout feature of 25 minutes up here. So if you're working along on your troops initial order and you get distracted, a child needs something, in my case, the dogs need to go outside, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you save before you step away. Because if for some reason you're away from the computer for 25 minutes and your session is dormant, then you're going to get logged out and your information won't save. So you want to make sure that you save as you go when you create your order. You only want to commit your order at troop level when you feel that your order is complete. There's nothing else that's going to be added. There's no other edits that need to be made, because once you've committed the order at troop level, you as a troop user do not have the ability to uncommit it. Service unit or higher has to uncommit that order for you in order to make any further edits. So commit is your final stage as you approach your February 2nd deadline. Just save it, and then you can come back to it and commit it. But if you feel like you're done, go ahead and commit. So for now, I'm going to save, yes. And Snap will give you an order number. Click OK. And I'm going to jump ahead a minute, because what's just happened is Snap has taken me to the Manage Orders screen. And underneath the cookies icon, you'll notice there's a Manage Orders option. This is your, what I like to call, home base or dashboard for orders. So if I was to filter this by initial and click Apply, you will then see appear in the grid the order that you just created. You can double click on it. You can go right back to it, and here's where you can make more edits because you've only saved it. You've not committed it. So that's how you create an initial order. To recap, go to Cookies, Initial Order. Here is the initial order that you had saved. Because you've not committed it, you have the ability to continue to make edits to it and add more information in the fields. Then once you feel that the order is complete, and I'm going to go ahead and really pile in some numbers here. And the reason why is because when we get into recognition orders later, I want you to be able to see where we've got real recognitions earned by girls. So bear with me while I do this just to prepare us for later.
So Paige, while you're doing
And
that,
Pages.
I have one question.
Yes.
So while you're doing that, when you're ordering Booth Extra cookies, should I put those in packages? And so I just wanted to make sure that the troops understand that. So if you need extra cookies for your Booth sale for that first weekend, or to kind of catch up on your catch-up orders, how should they add those cookies into the system?
Everything's done in packages.
Got it.
All right, so we've got a nice troop order here. We've got a nice troop order of 57 cases and 684 packages. Now, Maya, you sounded like you had some questions too.
Yes, we did have a question. If you are looking at your troop roster and that you see a girl is missing, however, you have verified that she's in eBiz, what steps would you like them to take, Alicia?
We can talk a little bit, I'll answer it now, but we can talk about, like, those types of questions at the end. But how we will handle it is we will be doing an upload every week on Thursday of girls that are not in the system. So if you see that a girl is registered, you looked on your sheet on your in eBiz and you see that she is registered, then just give it some time. We did do an upload tonight. It has not gone through yet, so we're just still waiting for that. So check back in the morning. But if she's there in eBiz and she's connected to your troop, she will be in the system. So we'll get to that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Maya or Alicia?
One thing I wanted to point out, I know I'm going back to this, but I want to make sure that troops understand. So for booths and extras, right, when you needed to order additional cases for your booth sales, remember to put in the booth and extras, there are 12 boxes to a case. So if you needed an additional couple of cases or one case of Thin Mints for your boot sale, then you need to, instead of putting one there, you would put 12 there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paige.
You are correct.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys understand that. So that was my only question.
Okay. So now that I've padded this order really well, and I feel confident that it's done, I didn't enter any booth extras, which is okay, because really for testing purposes and demo purposes, I want to be able to show you both how the order looks once it's committed, and then when we get to rewards, it'll be very helpful. I'm going to go ahead and commit this order. Are you sure you want to commit it? Yes. All right. Here's my order number. It was committed, and Snap is reminding me to schedule a pickup for my order. So now what I'm going to do is get taken back to the Manage Order screen. The grid is empty until you select your filters up top here. I'm going to click on Initial because I know I just committed and submitted my initial order. And now I'm going to see my order here. Keep in mind you have a unit of measure filter up here. You'll notice the numbers look really low. Why? Because I'm looking at them in cases. If I go to Packages, Apply Filter, I now see that I have 684 packages. The status is T, meaning it's committed at the troop level. I can't change that. I'd have to get my service unit to help me if I had to make edits to this order. I can double click on it and I go right back into that initial order view where I can look at it by girl, but now you'll notice my fields are grayed out. I can't click in any of these. I can't edit. It's committed. So this is what your initial order looks like, especially when you go to Manage Orders, Filter by Initial, hit Apply, and then here's the first order in your Manage Orders dashboard for your troop. Type is I, meaning initial order number is Snap generated. The date is the date in which you created it. Any questions on initial orders before we move on?
We have a couple of questions. I have somebody who's in the system right now, and they're saying that they're not able to see the booth scheduler. I'm sorry, they're not able to see the drop down at the moment. It's because they do not have access to it yet.
Drop down. Where?
Under the delivery station, it is empty, so changes cannot be saved. Is it a required field? Will this be corrected so we could update the troop information?
Oh, underneath edit troop information?
Yes.
Okay. The delivery station doesn't have an assignment?
It doesn't have Armstrong there, or no? Or Bergeron?
According to this person, no, it is empty at the moment.
What service unit are they in? It may be a service unit not attached to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to wait for a response from him first.
That's okay. We'll wait a second.
Well,
112.
Okay, yeah, I think that was one of the service units we were looking at today and changing around. So let's.
All right,
Okay.
Greater Baton Rouge District, and then let me go over here, Alicia, and look really quick, delivery station. Yep, so let me go here, manage delivery stations. Okay, we have to add delivery stations to your live database. What you do have right now, and we also have to add delivery agents. So yes, that is a setup thing that we need to get done.
Okay. If the extra package order doesn't zero out, do the service unit managers go in and correct the packages so it zeroes out to cases?
It zeroes out to cases. Hang on, let me get back into my troop account.
Well, it should automatically update to cases. So when you make an order, it's going to automatically update. The only time that you have to zero out is at the end in terms of assigning cookies that are left over. So it will zero out at the bottom here. You see, you know.
And then,
Yeah, go ahead.
You can finish, Paige.
No, I was just going to say, on the initial order side of things, there's no what I call truing up, if you will, where the troop leaders got to, round up, or the system, as Alicia said, the system is doing it for you here on the initial orders.
Okay. We have another question. Could you show the service unit managers, will they be able to access to see all of their troops?
We'll have a separate webinar for service unit managers to be able to see how their things are looking to them. We don't have a test service unit troop in there right this second, so we will have something separate for service units.
Okay. And then a question, when you are entering your packages, does this include what the girls sold on Coco, or are these sales just from the traditional order cards?
The initial order? Is that what,
Yes.
Is that the question? Okay, this is for the I'm not sure I really understand the question. This is the order that's going to be placed up front and due the second.
Maybe I can help with that. Maybe I think I understand where they're going. But repeat the question, Maya, just to make sure that I'm thinking about this correctly.
Okay, when you enter your order, does this include what the girls sold on Coco, or are these just sales from their order cards?
Okay.
Okay.
So there are two ways that a girl can sell an order on Coco. So on Coco, our customer can place a promise, which means that no money has taken, no money has been exchanged, right? So those orders are treated as traditional orders. So the girl should still put those orders on her order card and turn them into her troop leader just like she would her traditional orders. The only thing that she's using Coco for in that instance is to receive promises. So, like I said, those orders should be treated just like a regular traditional order. The other type of order that can be processed on Coco is a Coco Direct order, and those orders will tie directly into Smart Cookie. Will tie directly into Snap from Coco, because those orders are actually paid for, and we know that that is a true order that is in the system. So yes, those will transfer. So promises have to be manually transferred, just like traditional orders. Coco Direct orders, where a customer has paid for and had shipped to them, those orders will flow automatically from Coco into the Snap system. Does that answer the
Okay,
question?
thank you.
Mhm.
Yes. And just a reminder for some people, I have some questions. So you have login for Snap, which is different from Smart Cookie U. And your login information for Smart Cookie U, you get access through your Coco account. Just a general reminder for everybody because there seems to be some confusion on where you're accessing everything. And that's it for questions as of right now.
Okay. All right, so we've gone through the process of the initial order, and we've taken a look, at least initially, at the manage order screen. So now what I want to do is walk you through how to set up your pickup schedule for the initial order that you just placed. So you're going to have to set an appointment to go pick up these cookies. And the way you would do that is go back to your My Troop icon. And again, this is where you would see your Troop Girls section. This was where you also were editing your troop information. And if you go down here and click on Delivery, you'll notice that you have two options, which is Schedule Your Pickup or View Your Pickup Times. So I'm going to start fresh by scheduling my pickup. And you'll notice here that we've got two dates. So pickups are the weekend of February 20th and February 21st. And it's going to be in either New Orleans or Baton Rouge. And what you would do to see your appointment slot, and this is right now, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is all test data that we're working with in a test database for these demo purposes. So while it's going to look exactly like this, the structure of the appointments may be a little bit different, and that's going to be based on the case volume that's going to be picked up that day, how many lanes we might have available at that pickup location, the start and end times, and all that stuff. So this is a sample schedule of what it's going to look like on the pickup day. So if I want to pick up on Saturday, I'm going to double click on the available slots. And here you'll notice, and I'm going to actually, hang on a second. Yep, I'm going to delete that appointment because I want to start fresh. Here you'll see I have the ability to select anything that's green means it's open for the taking. I can start as early as 8 a.m. if I want to go pick up, and I can go all the way until 3:50. Keep in mind, sample schedule. The schedule may look slightly different based on the actual volume that we start setting up for that weekend pickup. So if I really want to get there early, I could pick the 8 a.m. appointment. And it looks like there's two lanes open. So I'm going to click on this little green icon. It's telling me, okay, that's fine. You can pick up at 8 a.m. You'll see down here that you've got a total of, based on your initial order, 684 packages. Remember, that was your initial order. And then you can click OK. Then what you'll notice is that your appointment has now changed to a red icon indicating that that slot is now booked. If you want to click on the little looking glass icon, you'll notice here that your appointment details pop up. It shows you the same thing. It tells you where you're picking up, it shows you the date, the time, and it shows you how many packages you're scheduled to pick up. If for some reason your schedule changes and you need to alter that appointment and move it to another time, you can do what I did earlier, which is click on the red. It'll ask you if you want to delete. You can click OK to delete it. And then you can pick another time during the day. So Council and I will be setting up the delivery station schedules for the pickup weekend, and it'll be structured again based on how many cases we've got to move that day, how many lanes we're going to have open. So all that will be getting set up in the system. All right, any questions on setting up the delivery pickup? Or I should say the delivery station pickup?
We have somebody in the system right now, and it says when I click schedule pickup, it says, oops, there was an error. If the problem persists, please contact your council manager.
Right, and that's because, as I mentioned, the delivery station schedules have not been set up yet. We also need to set up the delivery agents and the delivery stations. So once all of that information is set up, it'll be fine for you to schedule. But the other thing too is you haven't even created your initial order yet. so there's nothing to pick up. So it's just too early to start that process.
Right, and I think that's the big thing. In order for you, and what we've been telling people in training, is that it just as it has been in the past, once you submit your initial order is when you go to your delivery tab. The system does not, if you do not have an order there, the system does not know how much time to allocate to you. So even if the delivery information was there right now, you would not be able to submit your order or submit your delivery time because you have not committed an order at that time. So the system is very intuitive in that way, in that you won't be able, it couldn't do what it needs to do because there is no order there to do that. So that's why.
Okay. Another question is, what would you recommend picking up for multiple troops at the same time?
Right. So one person coming to pick up for multiple troops?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, and Alicia, you chime in here if you have a way that this has been handled in the past, but we would want those troops to coordinate with each other, making sure that their delivery station appointments were consecutive. So if one person was coming, what I would do is I would print out a screenshot of maybe that delivery station appointment summary saying, hey, look, I'm here for troop 2 to pick up these cookies.
I think what they're asking in the past, what the previous system allowed them to be able to pick up for another troop. So it would have to, that troop would have to give permission for another troop to be able to do that. So if there's a situation where you're picking up for 2 troops, the system does not allow you to do that in this. There's not the same functionality with that. So one of the things you can do is to choose to go back to back, and then when you're going back to back, or either side by side, lane by lane, then we can kind of navigate that once you get to the delivery site. The other thing is, if you have a very large troop, we do have some people that have 4 or 5 troops, and we still had to kind of navigate that because the system would not allow us to do all of those. So if you have a situation like that where you have 4 or 5 troops that are coming, like we have a few that do that, you still would have to schedule. If you're in the New Orleans area, you have to schedule with Mary Ruth Shanks to make sure that we have you together. Typically, Kimberly Schwartz and Maya Miller handles the Baton Rouge pickup, so if there are situations like that. So what you're asking is, do they have the same functionality? No, it does not. But what we would recommend is that you go back to back, and we'll just give you 2 bubble sheets, and you can still pick up both orders at once, because we have to separate it out anyway. So.
And yes, to reiterate what Alicia said, that the troop, even though you might be picking up for a troop, that other troop is still going to have to schedule their own appointment in this system, and that's what I meant by coordinate with each other, so that you can try and make it to where your appointments are consecutive. I hope that makes sense.
I got it. I understand.
Okay. What you're saying. Great. Thank you.
Okay, so we've created our initial order. We've scheduled a pickup for that initial order. Now what I'd like to do is show you how to do a planned order. So this is for when you're in the planned order phase and you need to get more cookies for your troop from the cupboard. Alicia, are you ready for me to jump into this?
Yeah, that's fine. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So here, I'm actually going to jump into another database really quick. Because I have some test data elsewhere that I'd like to show you, so bear with me for a second while I just jump to another troop account. Okay, so here what you see is the ability to select a cupboard, and once you select your cupboard, you'll see a little map icon, and this is going to let you click on it and actually physically see where the cupboard is located if, in the event you need more specifics on where you're going to get your cookies. And then you can click the drop down and you can pick the date for your pickup. And that date will dynamically display based on how the council is setting up the dates for pickup. And I know that you all are trying to establish a schedule for giving the cupboard some lead time to be able to get to those cookies. So once you pick your cupboard and your pickup time, you also notice here that SNAP automatically date and timestamps your order, which is pretty standard no matter what order type. And then you would simply enter your order. And then you would click Save and return to Manage Orders. And from here, let me go back to, actually I can just go to Manage Orders here. If you go to Manage Orders and you click on Planned as your filter type and click Apply, what will pop up in the grid is the order that you placed. So it'll show you the order number, the type P, meaning planned, where it's going to be transferred to, which is to the troop, transferred from, which is the cupboard, the order date, and it'll show you all the information going across. Keep in mind you have a unit of measure filter up here where you can filter by cases versus packages to see detail all the way down to the package level. And then just like with any other order in SNAP, you can double click on that order and you can go back and view how that order looks. So that's how you create a planned order. So let me go back to, go ahead.
I wanted to point out something that I saw, I noticed. Remember, this is a test database that Paige is working in. And just to reiterate that anytime you pick up cookies from a cupboard, any of the R16 cupboards in the council, you have to pick up in a case. So we deal in cases and not packages. So I just want to make sure that I know that you saw what you could have seen on that screen, but when you're dealing with the cupboards, you need to pick up in cases. Okay.
And could you just review one more time what exactly a planned order is? We have some confusion.
Sure. So, Alicia, this was previously called what?
So a planned order is a pending order. A pending order is, or a planned order to your cupboard of choice, is what it is. It's you saying, hey, I'm going to need additional cookies for my boot sale for the upcoming weekend on February 28th. So that's the Sunday of your first weekend of boot sale. So after you finished all of your boot sales on that Sunday, by midnight, we need you to tell us what you're going to need for the upcoming week. And that's why it's called planned or pending order to a cupboard is what we're doing. That's what a pending order is. So.
Okay, thank you. And just a reminder that it does reflect through cases. So all planned orders will be for cases.
Yes, I had jumped over to another database and it was showing packages, and now I'm back in the Louisiana East database, and you'll see here where you select your cupboard, your date and time, and then in red it'll definitely show cases. So you'll be entering your planned order in cases. Okay, so now that we've covered how to create the initial order, how to schedule a pickup for that initial order, how to go ahead and enter your planned order, which was previously known as your pending order, I think what I'd like to do now is jump into the booth functionality on how to, as a troop user, how to work the lottery booth system as well as the first come, first serve, and how all of that works in SNAP. So as I mentioned earlier, underneath your cookies icon, you have all of your ordering information, but you also have your booth scheduler information. So down at the very bottom, you see booth scheduler, and you'll notice that you have two options. You can either schedule a booth or a lottery request, or you have something called the Smart Divider, which we're also going to go into, which is a brand new feature for all of our councils. So I want to go ahead and figure out how, as a troop, I'm supposed to secure a booth sale. Now, as Maya and Alicia have told us, there are going to be 3 rounds of booth sales. The first round is going to be a first come, first serve that opens up on January 31st, and you have the ability to win or I shouldn't say win, that's not the right word. For first come, first serve, you have the ability to reserve 3 slots. 2 of those locations can be premium. The second round of booths will be a lottery system that will open up on February 6th. You can request lottery wins up until February 11th when the lottery actually generates. And then the third round of booths will be another round of first come, first serve, where you can reserve unlimited number of booths. Alicia, before I go any further, is there anything else that you want to add to that? And maybe it might be best to wait for questions, but I just thought I'd check in.
No, I think that was good, just to make sure that they know that, you know, you get 3 slots, and 2 of them can be premium locations. So it's kind of up to you how you choose to do that. So 3 slots, 2 premium locations. So you would only be able to go from 9 to 11, 11 to 1. I mean 11, yeah, 9 to 11, 11 to 1, yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with how you request a lottery and reserve a first come, first serve. Now I want to go back to my cookies icon and I want to show you how we got to this booth scheduler page. So remember, I like to call our cookies manage orders page as kind of your order dashboard. Well, I like to call the booth scheduler page your booth dashboard. And what I mean by that is not only is it going to show you as a troop all of the booth sales that are out there to be reserved, it's also going to show you at the bottom what your current troop booths look like. And you'll notice that through some of our previous testing, I've already got a lottery booth sale request sitting here for Walmart. And I actually can't delete it because the system's not letting me delete it right now, which is okay. I actually want it to sit here. I want to show you what it looks like to have a lottery request sitting out there. And then you'll also notice down here under first come, first serve, I also have a booth lottery. I mean, a booth win. I have a first come, first serve sitting out here. I have a first come, first serve reservation at a Walmart on January 15th from 2 to 4. Now, councils do booths very differently, but what you all need to focus on is either lottery or first come, first serve. All this other stuff you don't need to worry about, because what you're going to be doing with your council is a lottery round and then 2 rounds of first come, first serve. So what I'm going to start with is lottery. And again, the lottery is the middle round, round number 2, that'll open on 2/6, and it'll run and generate on February 11th, and you've got the ability to request up to 10 booth slots. And the reason I'm going to start there is because my settings in Snap are currently set to lottery, and I only want to have to go out one time to change them back. So I'm going to show you right now how it looks like, or what it looks like rather, to request a lottery booth. So here under cookies, booth scheduler, schedule a booth, this is where you're going to see all of the booth locations that are available to be reserved for your troop. Let's say I really want this Walmart. I double click on the Walmart and I see in the calendar, much like that pickup schedule if you remember for your cookies, it's the same calendar, you'll see all the available dates. You can hover over the word available and it shows you what booth slots are available. If you double click on any of the given dates, it'll show you cancel, and the reason cancel showing is because I already have that one. Let's say I really want to get this other one that happens right after from 2 to 4. It'll show you a link called request. Request means you are requesting it for the lottery. If I click on request, it'll ask me, are you sure you want to request this booth sale on this date from these times? I click OK. You'll now notice my link goes from request to cancel. I now have both of these booths requested for the lottery. I click close. I go back to cookies, booth scheduler, schedule to my little dashboard for booths, if you will. And now you'll notice that both of those Walmarts are appearing. And you'll also see where there's a 1 and a 2, and it's an editable field. This allows you, as you work your way up to those 10 requests that you can have in your lottery round 2, this allows you to, I'm totally drawing a blank on the word, prioritize the way in which you would really like to win these. So if you really want that Walmart from 12 to 2, you can make that priority number 1, or you can bump it down. So because we've only done 2 and we have the ability to get up to 10 requests in lottery, let's go ahead and let's try and find another one. I'm going to look at Sally's Beauty Salon, and I'm going to look at Saturday, double click, and you'll notice it says not available now. And that's because that particular booth location is not within the lottery rotation. So if you see that, that's okay. So now I'm going to go back to my big list, and I'm going to look at Costco. And under Costco, I see that there is a location available here, and there's a lot of time slots open here. And you'll notice they all say request. That means you're requesting them for the lottery. So I really want the 4 to 6 location. So I'm going to click on request. Are you sure you want to request? Click OK. So now you'll notice that shows up as cancel because you have requested that booth for your lottery. You click close, you go back to cookies, booth scheduler, back to your dashboard page, and now you'll see where you've got your location down here in the mix of your lottery. So you can do that up to 10 times. And you can just continue to add them here, and then you can reprioritize how you ultimately would like to see your wins assigned. So that's how the lottery works. Let's stop for questions because I know this is a very, usually a section where we have lots of questions.
We had some confusion about exactly what premium is again. If we could get some clarification on that.
So premium booths are booths like a Walmart. So like I said, like Paige said earlier, this is a test site. So, we just kind of put some things in here just for the purposes of the test site. So what you will see in the live site is once those booths are loaded in, you will see premium next to them. So just like you see here where it says Costco and it says premium, you will be able to see what items or what booths are considered premium. And typically those are going to be your Costco's or your Walmarts or your Sam's or your Lowe's. So your larger chains, really large chains will be considered premium. But you will know that because it will have premium next to them.
Okay. And will we know the booth and times before we can go in to select them?
What do you mean? Will we know the booth? Anytime you see a booth, you will see a time. So when you are signing up for that particular booth, you will see the time associated with that booth. So, did we not understand? I don't really understand that question.
Yes, that's the answer.
Okay.
Do we submit a request in the booth schedule for school sales so that they show up on the site for non-council sponsored booths is what she's asking for?
So those will be turned into your service unit manager. And the way that is handled, that has to be turned into them and they will enter and approve those into the system.
Okay. Also,
so before we go on to the next question, there is a form, and it's called your non-council sponsored booth form. And what you would have to do, whether that's a school or something that's not on the council sponsored list, like Joe's Pizzeria down the street, right? So these places you would have to go in, get the principal or the priest or Joe at the pizzeria to sign that form and turn that into your service unit manager. And that's how that process will work.
And those forms are found on Smart Cookie U.
Absolutely. Good job, Maya.
Yes. So when will the booth sales be listed so we can review our choices prior to the selection dates?
We're working on getting those loaded in. So your service unit managers are now out in the streets helping, securing booths. So you can contact one of them and say, hey, listen, do you need any help with securing booths? So we are in the process of getting our first uploads into the system of the booths that we already have. So Paige is working with us on making sure that we've done that correctly. So we're working on that. But
Okay, so
get with your service unit manager because they do a lot of work around, getting those booths set up. And so if you have some time to help and assist with that, I'm sure they'll, think that'll be great. So.
okay, so for an example, if for lottery I choose Costco for 12 and another chooses the same Costco at the same time, the lottery essentially will pick which one of us will have it.
Right. So it is a lottery, just as it is when you think about a lottery. You have 10 choices, so spread them around, but it is a lottery. It is not something that you're necessarily guaranteed to get.
Okay, I think that covers the questions for right now regarding booths.
All right.
And when are we notified when the winner is selected?
So on February 11th, you can go in the system and you will be able to see what you have won. And Paige can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm really glad that question came up actually, because not only will you be able to go into Snap and look at this booth dashboard for your troop and see what you won, and this view here will change, and they will actually be one booth versus what appears here to be pending. For example, it won't have your ranking anymore. It'll just look a little bit different. But what I really wanted to mention was earlier in the webinar, I talked about the importance of working email addresses for your troop contact. Snap actually pushes out emails to each of you to announce whether you won your request or you lost your request. So not only will you be able to look here in your Cookies Booth Scheduler Schedule a Booth dashboard page, but you'll also receive emails at the email address that you have on file within your Edit Troop screen to notify you of your win or your loss.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so now let's talk about first come, first serve. Because the first and the third rounds of your booths are going to be first come, first serve, where you will be able to go in and actually reserve on the spot a booth location in Snap. And you're going to do it the same way, meaning you're going to navigate to the booth the same way. You're going to go under Cookies, Booth Scheduler, Schedule a Booth, and you're going to see all the ones that you have available here. You're going to double click on what looks good to you. You're going to go to your calendar view, and you're going to see available dates, and then you're going to double click on the word available, and instead of request, remember under lottery it said request. Here it's going to say troop FCFS, meaning first come, first serve, reserve. And you're simply going to click on the link for the time slot that you want, and then you click OK. And it goes to cancel, meaning you now have reserved that booth. So this isn't a lottery situation where you have to wait to be notified. This is like making a reservation. You now have it. It's yours. So if you click close and you go back to your booth dashboard, now you'll see under first come, first serve, where I had a Walmart already, now I have Sally's. Now if for some reason I decide that I want to rearrange my first come, first serve reservations, and let's say I've decided I really don't want Sally's anymore, I'd actually rather go for a Costco, just click the red X to the right. This deletes the booth reservation from your troop, and keep in mind it also opens that booth back up for other troops to reserve. So it's important that you keep your booth reservations current. And then let's say that you really would like to go to the Costco, double click on it, double click on the available date, and here you'll see where you have more troop first come, first serve reservation options. Click, then click OK. You'll notice it changes to cancel. One thing I want to point out to you is it may look like the system is flaking out on you, and that's not the case. The system is waiting for you to actively click the close button. once you click close and you go back to your cookies booth scheduler, schedule a booth or a lottery request, you'll now see that you have a third added first come first serve booth underneath here at your Costco for the date and time. So that's how you book first come first serve. Any questions?
No questions right now for first come first serve. But one question is, are booth locations on the booth scheduler specific to the area that your service unit is located?
No, they are just, I don't think that's the way you're doing it, Alicia, correct? You're just inserting booth locations for the general troop.
Well, all of our, and I think what she's trying to get at is there is a search feature up there where you can search for booths that are in your zip code. However, all council-sponsored booth sales are just that. They are council-sponsored booth sales, so they do not, they are not assigned to a service unit or anything like that. We do not, they are council-sponsored, so they are for everyone in the council. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that's the questions, all the questions we have for right now.
Okay, great. So that shows you the booth functionality for both lottery and first come first serve. We've talked about the 3 rounds that are coming up, first come first serve, then the second is the lottery, and then the third is another first come first serve. And then what I'd like to go into now is how a troop creates a recognition order. So the recognition order can be created by the troop early on in the season, even though the sale is still going on, because what happens is SNAP keeps up with that order, meaning SNAP will continue to update that order based on packages transferred to the girl, packages sold by the girl, Cocoa Direct orders that get imported into SNAP. And what the troop leader needs to do is go underneath the rewards icon and then click on Create a Recognition Order. And here the troop leader is going to see where they have the ability to create either an early or a main order. So we know that there is the option for girls to win incentives underneath an early recognition plan, and if you go ahead and then click on Create Order, then the SNAP system actually creates the order for you automatically. And here what you'll see is a snapshot of what the order looks like. It shows your troop number, the registered girls, the selling girls, the total troop sales, the average sales per girl registered, and the average sales per girl selling, which we already covered the difference between the two in the system. And then you just go and you click on each girl. And as you click on each girl, her order actually updates. So down here at the bottom, if a girl name appears in red, it means that she might have items or sizes that need to be selected. And if there's an asterisk beside her name, you simply just need to click on her as you go through. So now all girls' names appear in blue. The order has been updated. We've got one girl who's sitting with the folding sunglasses. We've got another girl who has reached the nylon tote level, which is 175 packages plus. And we also have a second girl who has sold 197 packages, and therefore she's reached the second tier as well. So now what you can do is click on Review the Order, and then click Save and Exit. And you'll notice here that you're in your View Recognition Orders, which is underneath Rewards, View Recognition Orders. And you'll see here where you've got the troop number, you've got the early recognition order type, the date it was created, the number that SNAP has assigned it. It's currently sitting in uncommitted status, and if you need to edit it, you would click on the pencil icon. If you want to delete it for some reason, you can delete it by clicking the red X. Or, much like the initial cookie order, if you feel like it's done and you've reached the end of the selling period, and up until obviously this is an early order, so your order is due on February 2nd. When you approach your deadline of when the order is due, you would want to commit the order at troop level. Just keep in mind, once you commit an order at troop level, you cannot uncommit it. A level higher than you has to uncommit that order for any edits to be made. Now that's what the early order looks like. What about the main recognition order, which is the big recognition plan for girls to earn? If you go back under rewards and go to create recognition order, you go back to the exact same screen where we were just a few moments ago. And now under plan type, you no longer have the early plan type option because you've already created that order. Now Snap's just going to let you create your main. And remember when I made that initial order fairly large? I want to show you why. Now you've got your 3 girls. They're all showing as red because you've got some selections or some items that need to be updated. So now I want to go and I want to click through on each girl, and I want to make sure that in the event there are choices that you're going through and you're making those choices. And keep in mind this is a test database. But now you'll notice that all of the girls are now in blue because I've gone through and I've updated each of the items in the ranges. So we've got one girl who's sitting here with the highest range at 158 plus because she sold 174 packages. Then we've got another girl who sold 274 packages, and so her recognition earnings are going all the way up to the crossbody bag, which is the level of 256. And then the last girl in the troop has sold 197. So her recognition order is currently sitting at the 158 range because that's where she currently sits with her sales. You can click review order, and that reviews the order, and then you can click save and exit. And now in your view recognition order screen, you now see both your early and your main order. And as the season goes along, you can double click to edit that order. You can double click to check on it and make sure that, as I said, whether it's Cocoa Direct orders that are being imported, whether it's transfers that are being made to the girl, Snap will automatically update these orders with the girl's packages quantities sold or girl's packages that she's been assigned. So you don't have to do that work. All you have to do is go in and make sure that you're making the appropriate selections. And also you want to make sure that where there are items that are sized, like hoodies or t-shirts, you want to make sure that her size is correct. So what questions do we have?
We're waiting on recognition questions at the moment.
Well, while we're waiting, I wanted to touch base on a few things just while we have a kind of captive audience here. So remember that Daisy and Brownie troops are required to take the proceeds with incentive option. Older girls, so junior and up, have the ability to opt out of incentives for additional proceeds. So that is junior and up. If you are a mixed troop, and let's say, for instance, it's going to be based on, you can request to opt out, however, it is going to be based on the majority of girls in your troop. So if you're a mixed troop and you have 5 daisies and 1 junior, then technically you're a daisy troop. Okay, so if you would like to elect to opt out of incentives and you are a mixed troop, then you would need to contact myself or Maya to ask for that particular permission, and we will get back to you once we review how many girls are in your troop and at what level they are. So a couple of other things, though, while we're waiting on recognition questions, is the things that you are eligible for if you decide to opt out of incentives. So you're eligible for patches. So all of the bar patches, all of the patches that are available through the system, you're eligible for that. You're also eligible for all events. So the CEO event or the Cookie Diva event. You're also eligible for Cookie Dough, and you're also eligible for the free week at camp with a $300 cap limit. So those are the things that you are eligible for in the event that you choose to opt out of incentives. And that is, again, I want to stress that it's for older girls, so junior and up have the ability to opt out.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, we've started getting some great questions in. So one question is, do you have to commit under both the recognition order spots and the overall troop commit, or just commit once?
You commit the order once.
Okay.
But each order, right, Paige? So like you have to commit your early order early in order to get those incentives in order to, because you'll pick up your early incentives at delivery. So when you come in to get your cookies from the warehouse or wherever your service unit picks up your cookies, you will receive your early incentive. So you would have to pick that early, right, Paige?
That is correct.
Okay. Let's say somebody forgot to make mention of the size for girls. Will it remind them or would it automatically fill in a size?
If a size is missing on the order, yes, it is going to remind them by having the girl name appear in red here. But it's always good to double check to make sure that the size is accurate. And if for some reason the size is wrong, and let's say the mom says, no, 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 my girl needs to be an adult medium versus an adult small, then you would go to My Troop, Troop Girls, and where you would edit that size is here. And then that size selection carries over into the recognition order.
Okay. And then where do you enter the opt-out information if they are opting out for recognitions and only would want to do proceeds?
Right, so that's going to be underneath My Troop, Edit Troop information. You'll notice that there's a proceed plan and a recognition plan. And so once we get all of this information straight in the system, they'll have the ability, the troop leader will have the ability to do that here from the Edit Troop screen.
Okay. And then how do we make sure girls are accounted for the cookies they sell at booth sales?
Yep, great.
Yes, and how they are getting credit for them as far as recognitions go.
Paige,
right, so that takes us to a whole brand new feature that I mentioned earlier, which is the Smart Booth Divider. And if we're ready, we can move into that unless there are any other recognition questions.
Well, before you go into that, I wanted to make sure that they understand this, that you have to decide whether or not you're going to opt out of incentives by the end of initial order. So when you submit your initial order cookies, you have to make that decision, because after that you will not have the ability to make that decision there. So you need to make that decision prior to you submitting your initial order. Just wanted to clarify that. But go ahead, Paige. I'm sorry.
No, no problem. Okay. So now let's go ahead and work on the Smart Divider. So the question was, and it's a very important one, how do I take what's sold at a booth sale, and not only how do I get that product allocated to the girl, but how do I also then make sure that she's earning incentives for the items that were sold, packages that were sold at the booth sale. So the way that you do that is you go down to Cookies, Booth Scheduler, Smart Divider. Now, I mentioned this is a brand new feature for all of our ABC councils this year, and it's a huge time saver. What you're going to first see is a full list of the booth sales that are happening. And for, again, the purpose of demo tonight, I'm going to pick one and act as if it's already happened. So I'm going to say, yep, we just had this Walmart sale yesterday, so I'm ready to actually go in and allocate my booth sales to girls. So what I do is I double-click on the booth sale that you want to work with, and down here you'll see a lot of important information, and I'm going to try and break it down into small pieces. The first thing you're going to see is the ability for you to enter the amount of virtual cookies that were sold, meaning the amount of cookie share council-sponsored cookies that were sold at the booth sale. And Alicia and Maya, I want you all to correct my terminology here if I'm not phrasing it correctly. because these are the cookies that you would not have physical inventory of at the booth sale, but you would have collected money to make for the donation.
Right. So these are I Give cookies. So I Give is, remember, the girl in the troop is financially responsible for the cookies. However, this does not come out of your inventory. The council is responsible for making that delivery. And we chose the two organizations, Blue Star Moms and Second Harvest Food Bank, and the Food Bank of Baton Rouge as well. So we are the ones that are responsible for choosing the recipients as well as making the delivery. So these are I Give cookies. Virtual cookie share is I Give.
Okay, then the second field you'll see here, and these abbreviations up here are for the varieties. Just to recap, thanks a lot, cranberries, lemonades, shortbreads, thin mints, peanut butter patties, caramel delights, peanut butter sandwiches, and gluten-free. You'll notice that for each variety, there are two boxes. The first box is going to be for what's called actual. So that's just the straight cookies you sell at a booth sale. I walk up, you're at Walmart, I buy a package. That's one package. Then the second box is called tracked. So this is for your troop level cookie share, where you have the inventory at the booth sale. I don't want the product because perhaps I'm diabetic and I can't eat cookies, but I do want to purchase a box to be donated by the troop. Is that accurate, Alicia?
Yes. So tracked gift of caring, tracked cookie share is previously gift of caring. So that's what it was previously, gift of caring, where your troop is responsible for saying, hey, we're going to, make our donations to the local firehouse down the street, and we are responsible for making that delivery, as well as these cookies actually come out of your inventory.
Okay, so to recap, we got three fields here. The first is the I Give virtual, where the money's collected at the booth, but you don't have the physical inventory of the cookies to set aside. It's just the money for the donation. Then the second is the actual, where it's just the straight packages that you've sold to the public, to the customers at the booth sale. And then the second is the tracked cookie share, where a customer is giving you money, your troop is collecting it, and they're setting aside a package of cookies that gets donated to the local charity. So I'm going to go ahead and start entering in my numbers that occurred at this booth sale. And I'm going to enter in, just go ahead and start entering in my numbers by variety. And I won't do it all the way across for the sake of time, but I will do several so that you can see what happens. Okay, now you'll notice here that there's a little link here that says divide, but you'll notice here that I can't click on it. I can't do anything with it. The reason why is because the next step is after you've entered all of the cookies that were sold at that booth sale, your next step is to select the girls who actually participated in the booth sale. So if Misty wasn't there because she was sick, I'm going to uncheck her name. And now you'll notice that my divide link is highlighted and I can actually click on it now. So I'm going to click on divide. And look what happens. All of the varieties that you entered up here, with the exception of one, which we'll talk about in a minute, have moved down here. The reason there's a 1 there is because there was an odd number entered there that could not be evenly divided between two girls. You as the troop leader get to use your discretion on how you allocate that remaining package. So if Emily was at the booth sale early and perhaps helped set up, or if Emily just went above and beyond, you can choose to take that one remaining package and allocate it to Emily. And I'm trying to do that now, but the system is being difficult with me. Hang on. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Hang on. I've been doing this all week.
So Paige, does it have to be that particular cookie, type of cookie? So it has to be,
you know, Yes, thank you. I was in the wrong cell. So yes, it has to be that particular variety because you're transferring by variety. So thank you, Alicia. Who knew you'd be such an expert at SNAP so
I
quickly?
know. Wow. I'm just watching. This is awesome sauce.
Well, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it. So now you'll notice that that one cranberry that was hanging up there is gone to green. So you have no remaining quantity up here that needs to be divided amongst your two girls. It's all been evenly distributed. Now let's say that while you appreciate the fact that SNAP has done the division for you, if you want to tweak these numbers, you can do that. So if you wanted to change this 5 to, something lower and then allocate the package to the other girl, that's fine. You can absolutely do that. And that's, again, at your troops' discretion. But the reason we built this is for two reasons. One, in the past, in order for you to get these booth cookies to a girl, you would have to go up into cookies and actually do transfers to each of the girls. And we're going to talk about a transfer in a minute, but it was a lot of work to create these transfers individually to get these booth cookies to the girl. And then the other thing, too, is keep in mind that when booth cookies are transferred to the girl, it does not transfer financial responsibility. So this isn't going to create a financial burden on the girl having a balance due to the troop because it's a booth cookie. So no financial liability transfers. Once you're done with your allocation and you feel good about it and you're ready to move on, you can click Save. Once you do that, then I want you to go to your Manage Orders grid, and I want you to filter by transfer, and I want you to filter just by troop to girl, and click Apply Filters. And here, and also, don't forget, your unit of measures, make it packages. And here's what you're going to see. You're going to see two important things here. One, you're going to see the transfers that you created today for that booth sale. The other thing that you're going to see, which is very important, is you're going to see 2 rows for each girl. And here's why. You're going to see a negative transaction and a positive transaction. And this logic applies in the Manage Orders grid regardless of whether it's a regular transfer or a booth transfer. It's the way we've built the grid where it shows a negative transaction for the product moving from the troop to the girl. And then it's going to show you a positive transaction where it's showing the product moving from the troop to the girl. So you've got 36 going away from the troop, and you've got 36 going to the girl. So you're going to see 2 lines for each transaction. So SNAP has just done the booth transactions for you through your data entry in the Smart Divider.
So Paige, one of the things that I wanted to touch on too as well is one of the things that's good about being able to track this information. And some people are like, being able to track by variety. So one of the things that you can do going forward is to be able to go back and look and see, how well did you do at a particular booth and what varieties really sold where. So it's really helping you become more data driven in how you are making decisions on what type of booth sales, if this was a good booth sale, or in the future, I really know that I need to take more peanut butter patties to this particular booth because this is what I sold previously there. So I think this is a good tool for that, for the future. So
absolutely, and that's one thing that councils have been asking us for is booth data, and we need to know that. So to your point, do we want to structure our booth sale locations the same going forward? Based on the success metrics that we had in this season. So this is a great new feature, and we encourage you to use it. It's time-saving and, again, builds that repository of data. All right, let's stop for questions.
Okay, we have a question. For instance, if you have a large troop and they are having multiple booth sales at one time, Do you recommend that they combine them, or should they do them separately when they're entering their smart divider information?
Each booth sale location has to be done separately.
Perfect, thank you. Is there a place that you input dollar sales from cookie booths?
Yes, you can do that in the finances.
When you say
section.
dollar sales, what do you mean by that?
Waiting for the questionnaire.
While we're waiting on that page, I would like, one of the things is how, if you say, for instance, you haven't done a boot sale and it is, just a catch-up order where a girl has said, hey, I've been selling around my neighborhood. How do I put that in the system? But, after we get Maya's question.
Still waiting so she can answer.
Okay. So a catch-up order. So I'm trying to figure out how we would do that. So is that where so walk me through that, Alicia, so I can make sure I demo it correctly.
Okay, so it's, still boot sale time, but this girl did not sell these items at a particular boot sale. She sold these items, around her neighborhood. So how do I transfer cookies from the troop to the girl without there being a boot sale?
Easy enough. So that's going to be underneath the transfer order option in Snap. So what I just showed you with the booth divider automatically created transfers. And to your point, if you just want to do a straight transfer of product from the troop to the girl, you would go create your own. And underneath the transfer order screen, the troop leader is going to see a lot of choices. They're going to see the ability to transfer from a girl to a troop, from a troop to a girl, from a troop to a troop. And I'm going to, for now, go ahead and show you from the girl to the troop. Or actually, sorry, from the troop to the girl. So the troop needs to get product to the girl so that she can fulfill that catch-up order, right?
Right.
All right, so what's going to happen is the first row here is going to default, right? Because you're in as a troop, and it's automatically going to default to show that you're transferring from your troop. And then it's going to show you where you're transferring to the girl, and you would select the girl's name in the troop. And then if you were not doing the Smart Booth Divider, you would enter those packages in the booth field. That eliminates the financial liability at the girl level. But if you go down here, then what you can do is transfer product to the girl by variety. Let's say she sold 10 Thanks-a-Lots and 10 lemons, and then you can click Save. And then you would go back to your Manage Orders. Actually, you can just click on Go to Manage. Go to Manage, click on Transfer, and maybe you just want to look for that troop to girl. So you can uncheck the other transfer types, click Apply Filters, and here you're going to see where I just did the troop to girl transfer to Emily. Go up here, do it in Packages, and here you'll see the positive. Let me get my name straight in the grid. You'll see the positive 20 that I transferred to Emily from the troop, and you'll see the negative 20 where I transferred those 10 Thanks-a-Lots and 10 lemons away from the troop.
Perfect.
So that's an example of how you would enter a catch-up order as just a straight transfer. Cookies, transfer orders.
I want to point out a couple of other things too. So when you see your type of transfer, so one of the things that you can do now, and you will be able to do it from the beginning of the sale, is to or beginning of direct sale, is to be able to transfer boxes troop to troop. In the past we had to wait to the end of the sale, but now you'll be able to transfer boxes or cases amongst yourselves, troop to troop, throughout the sale. Anytime you're going to a cupboard, you cannot. The cupboard is giving to you. You cannot return anything to the cupboard. So just keep that in mind. You will not have the ability to be able to return to the cupboard. So you can come and receive things from the cupboard, but the cupboard does not do any returns. There it can be an exchange if a box is damaged, but it has to be the same thing. So if you say, hey, this box of Thin Mints is damaged and it's a hole is in it, then the cupboard will give you a box of damaged Thin Mints. So that's how that works. I just kind of wanted to clarify that.
Okay, great. Thank you. We had a question I think this is back to the financial. So when the troop transfers boxes to the girls, will the girl now be financially responsible for those boxes?
Yes, if it's a straight transfer, yes. If it's a booth transfer, no.
Okay. And a question is, what is a girl-to-girl transfer, or how would that be used?
Well, I can give you one example, and Alicia, certainly you can give others. If, let's say, oh gosh, if one girl in the troop, I've seen it used at troop discretion, honestly, where if packages were misallocated to a girl, whether it be through another transfer error or a troop error, then packages can be moved away from a girl. If a girl is, for example, I've even seen where a girl has left Girl Scouting and the packages have been moved away from her and allocated to other girls in the troop. They're definitely unique situations, but Alicia, do you have ones that you've seen happen?
And it really is at the troop's discretion, because say for instance, as a troop leader, you may say, one girl is having trouble selling a particular amount of cookies. So as a tracking mechanism to say, I already gave her 25 boxes, right? But she is having trouble selling those. So, she enlists another parent to be able to sell them. And you say, well, listen, if you can sell these, that would help me out a lot. So, instead of the parent taking on all 25, they may say, well, I can help you sell 5. And now that transfer is 5 boxes from girl to girl, which is still saying this other parent is still held accountable and responsible for those 20 boxes. It just kind of is a tracking mechanism, in my opinion, and that's how I've seen it used. It's more of a tracking system to make sure that you know where everything is. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Maya, are there more questions?
So just a reminder of what instances you are using the Smart Divide for.
Why would we be using Smart Divide?
Yes, so you would use your Smart Divider for your booth sales, correct?
Absolutely. So Smart Divide is used exclusively for your ability to record cookies sold at your booth sales. And it does a couple of things. It automatically creates the transfers of the product to the girl. It automatically makes sure that the girl gets credit for those packages sold in her recognitions. And then, as Alicia mentioned, it also captures very valuable data about how successful your particular booth sale was.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And as far as questions on that, there are no more.
Okay. All right, Alicia, anything else before I move into the Finances tab, which really is the last section of my presentation, I think.
I think that'd be great, because, yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. All right, so the last section is Finances. And as a troop leader, you want the ability to add a girl transaction, meaning you want the ability to record money that's been collected from the girl. So you're going to be able to choose the girl, enter a transaction date, enter a dollar amount, enter the method of payment, enter any reference details, check number, any other details, perhaps a note for, specifically what the transaction was for if there's something important, and then hit save. And then for any girl transaction that you create, you'll be able to look down here in the bottom grid and see that girl transaction. You'll be able to double click on it and edit it if you've made a mistake. You'll also be able to delete it if you realize that you've really made an error and you need to actually start over again. And then also you have a link here to a valuable report called the Girl Balance Summary, which is where you can go review all girl balances in your troop. Anything you'd like to add there, Alicia or Maya, about the finances section?
No, I don't have anything to add. Just to make sure that you actually do that, and maybe a good place to put is your receipt number, because remember that anytime money is exchanged or product is exchanged, you should have a receipt for that. So we have receipt books here, and we also have, we can order more. So if you need a receipt book, if you run out, that's fine. But I want to encourage you to use your receipting, books, and also, make these entries into the system. It'll help you out a lot. So.
Okay, and we had a couple questions about that. So will the payment from the girl send an email to her parent showing that it has been applied?
No. No, there are no emails that are sent for financial transactions like that, no.
All right, and is there a way to see all transactions by girls in your troop so we can see cookies transferred and monies that are due or applied all together?
Yes, you can run the Girl Balance Summary Report, and that's going to show you the balances. And is the question to view a list of all the transactions? Is that the question? Sorry.
For all girls?
Sorry, yes, yeah, for all girls.
For all girls. So you can look at the Troop Balance Summary, and that's going to show you the transfers, the transfer out, and let me see, hang on a second. Let's see what this is going to show me. Okay, that's just going to show you the totals. And if I go back to report, Girl Balance Summary, Girl Cookie Total Summary, let me take a look at that. There is a report that shows financials by girl level, and I'm just trying to figure out which one it is. Let's see.
Is it the Girl Balance Summary? No, not that one.
I'm going to look at that one and see if it shows all of them. Okay, this shows you the booth transfers in. It shows you the non-booth transfers in. So that's the kind that's going to transfer financial liability. The transfers out and the financial transactions. And then down per girl, exactly. So you're looking at a page. If you keep going down, you're looking at, and for example, here's the one that I just created. Remember for Peyton, I created one for $20. So there it is. So this is your Girl Balance Summary Report that, if you remember, it's linked at the bottom of the finances page, but it also is considered a summary report, Girl Balance Summary, that you can then add to your favorites.
Paige, could you go back to that Troop Balance Summary Report, just because I wanted to make sure they understand a few things on that as well?
The Girl Balance or the Troop Balance?
The Troop Balance, yep.
Sure, hang on. Okay.
So this Troop Balance Summary Report is actually going to be the report that obviously it recaps everything that has happened with your sale, but at the end of the sale, this is what you're going to turn into your service unit cookie manager. So there's a place at the bottom, as you can see, for signature, and so this is the report that you'll sign. and turn into your service unit cookie manager along with your, that's your essentially your final report, just to make sure that everything lines up. So you want to make sure that everything is correct on this particular page in this report, and what you're submitting to them is that, hey, I'm done, everything here is correct, and you sign off of it. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that before we kind of headed out tonight. So.
Any other questions, Maya?
No, we have pretty much covered up all the main points and topics.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Paige. Thank you so much for taking the time out with us, and we're right on schedule too, which is good. So, so thank you so much for taking out the time to do this with us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, I enjoy it, and I'm here for any questions, and certainly we'll continue working on getting SNAP updated and ready for everybody. And thank you so much. I wish you all much success in selling this season.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Maya, for taking those questions as well. She does a great job, so we appreciate that. And remember tonight, thank you all for taking the time out tonight. Your password, your login is your username, is your email address, and your password is going to be Lemonade. So remember that. All right, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.